discussion of the rational choice theory as a political analysis. So, rational choice theory believes that collective social behavior results from the behavior of individual actors, each of whom is making their individual decisions. So, partly arising from the American behavioral revolution in the 1950s and 1960s, it draws on the methodology of economics. So, as a political analysis, it operates within two assumptions. And so the first assumption is the methodological individualism, and the second is the concept of rationality. So the first assumption is the methodological individualism, wherein it purports that everything about the society and everything about social action can be reduced to statements about component individuals. So that is, rational choice theory is claimed to be reductionist. It aims to explain things in terms of the properties of individual social atoms. So the way to study politics is to analyze the political behavior of individuals, and therefore the unit of analysis is the individual itself. And so for the rational choice theory, having said that, it nurtures that the normative belief that politics must attend and respond to the needs, wants, and preferences of individuals, as individuals are highly self-motivated. So furthermore, according to Olson, rational, self-interested individuals will not act to achieve their common goal or group interest unless there is coercion or something that will drive or special device that can be used to make these individuals work for a common interest. Say for example, why do many people harm the environment by throwing plastics, wrappers, straws, and many more, even though we know that that is antisocial? So we think that these small changes that we are going to do will not affect anything, or it will not put any impact at all in this social problem that we see. And so of Olson has helped in collective action theory, in which it explains why collective action fails, and that failure can sometimes be avoided if the number of individuals that have to decide or individuals that do decisions are small in number. Not only does rational choice theory highlight the role of the individual in the formation of the social structure, but it also assumes that individuals have all the rational capacity, they have the time, the emotional detachment to make necessary decisions or to choose the best course of action no matter how complex the choice. And so it is sufficing to say that rational choice theory assumes that individuals have preferences, and these preferences often than not are self-interested. But what does it mean to be rational? So when we say rational, it is different from the colloquial meaning of rational as being sensible, predictable, or in a thoughtful, clear-headed manner. But to be rational, as for the theory, is to be goal-oriented. You have to be evaluative and consistent across time and space. However, others have something to say about individuals being rational. As according to Downs, the first to pioneer in the application of rational choice theory in electoral behavior, it is assumed throughout the model that aside from being rational, individuals are given to be selfish. So in accordance with this view, it's the view of human nature. Rational behavior means to be directed primarily towards selfish ends. Thus, coming from the axiom of self-interest, Down relates the motivation of political actions of party members. So individual votes for the party which, if got into office, they are expected to yield them the highest utility, meaning they are expected to give the best or to respond to the preferences of these individuals who have voted them. And therefore, parties are assumed to be motivated solely by their desire for office, and they compete for votes by changing their platforms and their policy that would address these individual interests. So, conceptually, individuals make parametric decision-making under certainty in which action has a known outcome. In other words, there is no given risk or uncertainty when the decision is being made, and that the relation between actions and the outcomes remain unaffected even if there are actions from the outside. Or this means that the person can say which of the given alternatives they consider to be preferable, or that neither of these alternatives is preferred. So individuals, they are assumed to be able to rank order outcomes. Thus, for any pair of alternatives, if you say if option A is better than option B and option B is better than option C, then it implies that option A is better than option C. This is the transitive property of either. With the complications of actions that may actually lead to various outcomes, individuals may not know the consequences of their actions for sure. So, granted certain assumptions, individuals tend to maximize their expected utility, weighing off their cost and benefit. As according to Downs, the view of human nature of individual is to be selfish, and for a very long time, theoretical economists postulated a being named Homo economicus, a rational individual relentlessly bent on maximizing a purely selfish reward, which agrees to the definition of Down of being rational. But a lesson or an experiment called the ultimatum game proved that real people are a crossbreed of Homo economicus and Homo emoticus. We are complicated, or individuals are complicated hybrid species that can be ruled as much as emotion and can be ruled as by logic and selfishness. And so, going to that, I want to relate it on the sociological critique wherein it demands for rational choice theories to recognize that methodological individualism and fully reductionist theory are impractical.